This is a toy spot on DC Superheroes Batman. Just clear my voice before I get into this. I have the full, I think I have the most up-to-date wave of the DC Universe line of figures, which I have to say are incredible. I mean, if you like Marvel Legends, go with the DC as well, because you won't be disappointed. I was going to start doing the DC Universe figures, but I thought, you know what? I might as well do this right, and I might as well go right back to where it all started and go through the DC Superheroes figures first. Because, you know, they were the ones that eventually gave us, you know, the cool figures that we have now. So having said that, I figured I'd do the very first figure of the very first wave of the very first line before DC Universe. So that, of course, is Batman. Let's get a good close look at the packaging here. It's interesting that the DC Superheroes is on the actual bubble packaging rather than on the card. On the card, we're only looking at the comic that is included with the figure. But there we have Batman along the bottom there. Ages 4 and up, so I think I should be alright. A really, really nice figure. Now, truth be told, though, this figure didn't come along first in the DC Superheroes line. This Batman was a remold and repaint from, I believe, I don't know the actual name, but I know there was a Batman line that was out a couple of years prior to this. And those figures that from that, I think it might have just been called Batman Classics or Batman Heroes line. And from that line, we got the Bane that carried over, the Robin carried over, Joker, who was in the wave as well. He carried over from that series. Did I say Robin? Also, Mr. Freeze. The only Mr. Freeze, I might add as well, was originally featured in the Batman wave. But like I was saying, this is a repaint from that initial Batman collection. If we have a look on the back of the packaging, the figures in the wave are Batman. We've got Scarecrow. A really weird Scarecrow, but I'll get to him when I do the review. There we have Bane. And there we have Killer Croc. There was only 4 figures to the wave. They did the same thing when it carried over to the second wave, and we had only 4. I think it was only 4 Superman figures. But there you have the packaging. A really, really nice figure, but I mean, we'll get into that when we get this guy opened up. But there you have the packaging aside. What I'll do is I will take a brief second, and when I come back, we will have a closer look at Batman. And here we have Batman now out of the package. Now, the fact that this is a repaint and a remold from the initial Batman wave that came out, you're not going to get the same articulation or the same posability that you would get with a Marvel Legends or with the DC Universe now. Even though, looking at it, it looks like you would. There is articulation in the head. And I also want to point out, too, that the head is well sculpted. I mean, his head looks really, really nice. Unfortunately, though, there isn't really much in the way of articulation in the head. It almost looks like there's a ball joint, but it's really not. It's just the head will rotate side to side, but you're not going to get anything you're not going to get the head to tilt. There is articulation in the arms or in the shoulders. There's a ball joint. There's an articulation in the elbows, and as well as the hands and the wrists. I don't know if you'll see that in the camera or in the video, but a lot of the parts on his head, like his ears on his head, his fingers, are all this kind of rubberized plastic. It's very soft and pliable. I don't know. It's a bit. It throws you off because when you go to reach for the hand, you do notice that it's this really soft plastic. But he does have our articulation in the torso, even though the cape does hinder it. He can rotate as well at the waist. There's articulation in the foot as well as the knee. So it does seem similar to what a Marvel Legends or DC Universe would be. Where it does lose it, though, is it doesn't have articulation in the legs. It does to the point that you can bring the leg out, but you can't bring the leg, sideways. You can't rotate the thigh or anything like that. As well, I don't know if you can see it, but his leg is also posed in a certain way. Like his leg is facing this way, his leg is this way kind of thing, and you can't adjust that. So, I mean, you're not going to get, again, that posability that you would expect to get with the later figures. So that's the one downside to it. But the Batman figure, the look of Batman looks really nice, and the coloring is nice too. I mean, they picked a nice blue. In the way of his accessory, he has 3. He's got a Batarang, which is attached to his hand via the clear rubber elastics that we're always used to seeing on some of these figures. He also has, I don't know what that would be. It almost looks like it could be a gas mask, maybe. Although it doesn't look like it attaches to his face at all. I don't know, maybe it's a bicycle pump, who knows. He also comes with what appears to be bat cuffs, although they are incredibly small. It almost seems to me like these accessories were taken from a different figure because they're way too small for this figure. So the accessories, I mean, there's nothing, and also too, he can only hold his accessory in the one hand because of the way his hand is posed. You can do nothing with this hand. I mean, this hand will hold, I mean, I guess it could kind of hold it, but not well. Overall, the figure isn't bad, but don't buy it thinking, I mean, if you do see it, and they're very hard to find nowadays, but if you do see this figure, don't pick them up thinking that you're going to get a lot of posability that you would with the figures nowadays, because you won't. He's not even really going to stand for me on camera here. Try to get him to pose here. Is he going to stand? Yes. But there you have a toy spot on the very original DC Superheroes Batman. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm going to go through all the original DC Superheroes figures before I do the DC Universe figures. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.